Hello everyone and welcome to the video. If you're new here, my name is Steven and I'm a future first year dental student. On this channel, I have started to make some videos about the experience of getting into dental school and how I have gone through it as an undergraduate student and the things that I've done to basically prepare. And I'm excited today to bring a completely new piece of content to this channel, and that is sort of a look at some technology. And we're gonna begin fittingly today with this, the iPad Pro. I've been super excited to talk about this piece of technology, and in the past week I went ahead and purchased one and it's lived up to it already. So just a quick caveat, I am not a tech guy per se. I do know a good bit about technology and I've had quite a few experiences with a lot of technology. I guess enough to be able to talk about it somewhat logically. But even in not being a tech guy, I feel like I can bring this video to you as a student. Hopefully I could just tell you how this will benefit you. Cool, so getting right into it. So this iPad is a 12.9-inch 2018 iPad Pro, and it is the 64 gigabyte version. And I'm actually looking at my iPad right now to check out some notes on the video itself. But yeah, this is the 12.9 inch, and like I said, 64 gigs. So the smallest memory you can get on this thing, but 64 gigabytes is still quite a bit. And it's the larger of the two. The other option is an 11 inch. And like I said briefly, this particular iPad came out in late 2018. So now in very late 2019, I think this video is still relevant because it's the most up-to-date iPad we have, and it's still an amazing piece of technology. I purchased this iPad at a Best Buy in my hometown, and I bought it in their open box program. So basically, Best Buy has this deal where you can purchase a piece of technology through an open box thing where the Geek Squad checks it, and it's basically a brand new device and it's just been opened and slightly used for a few days, I guess. So what would have been about $1,000 plus purchase was immediately bumped down to $850, which was pretty nice for me. So I want to start off talking about this device by talking about the specs themselves and why I chose them. Firstly, the size. The size to me was a bit of a debate that I had to have, and ultimately I settled on the larger 12.9-inch iPad. And the initial reason for that was when I walked into the Apple store to check them out for the first time, I was just immediately drawn to the 12.9-inch over the 11-inch. Something about the larger screen appealed to me. It just seemed like a more fun device to use, and it was immediately what I played around with at the Apple store. And then the 64 gigabyte, obviously it's the cheapest choice. I am somewhat of a cheap person, so I didn't want to spend crazy money. But really, I was initially a little bit worried about would that be enough storage, and my intentions on this device are mostly to use it for note-taking, but also to do a little bit of design work, editing the thumbnails for these videos and some other things on some of the Adobe Creative Cloud apps. And so after a bit of research and a bit of reassurance from one specific feature on this iPad, I chose the 64 gig because it was financially feasible and also good enough for me. But yeah, so my first impression was that this device was just amazing to kind of pick up, feel, and hold. And after owning it for a week, it's fantastic. It's a super slim device. It's like crazy thin, and it's like perfectly proportioned. Apple has really come out with a beautiful design here, and it just feels to me like the future of technology. We no longer have a large bezel on the top and bottom, and we now have no home button, so we get this seamless screen, kind of like the new iPhones. And it's really just, it's a pretty design. Speakers on both the top and bottom, and the wonderful USB-C connection, which is great for this device. So I have to say, just after a week, using this thing is just fun. Like, I don't really know how to describe it other than that. It's more fun. I tend to pick it up now more than I do my iPhone or my laptop. And I think that's valuable in a way, especially when it comes to note-taking. It's something that I'm super excited to actually pick up and write on. And when it comes to sitting in a class, sometimes we have trouble actually being motivated to write notes, and with something like this that makes it fun to do so, I think that's a benefit. So the hardware on this device is amazing, and it's really, like I said, the first impression you're gonna have is that this thing is fun to hold and fun to use. But really where this thing is set apart from past iPads, which, by the way, iPads have been around for a long time, so it's kind of like what's new. Really what's different is the software, and in 2019 iPad OS was released, and that sort of changed this device and brought it closer to a full-fledged computer. There's a lot of people on YouTube that have made comparisons between a MacBook Pro and an iPad Pro and sort of like what's better. And ultimately, a laptop is still a laptop. It's still a full computer with full capabilities. And this is still a tablet that's not quite there. But iPadOS really did bring this thing a lot closer, and especially now with some of the features like Sidecar and the connectivity to keyboards and mouses and all these things, it's really getting close. But the software on this iPad is awesome, and it's one of the best parts about it, especially now in 2019 and moving into 2020. And the fact that Apple came out with this iPadOS just to me signifies that they really are trying to bring this thing closer to being a full laptop replacement. Personally, I also have a MacBook Pro. This is a 2017 13-inch, kind of like the cheapest one you could get back then. And so I've been able to kind of compare the two myself and decide which one is at least more fun or better to use, more useful. And the conclusion on that is basically I'm excited to have both because I think both are going to benefit me greatly. But really in 2019, the iPad Pro became much better and much closer to a full computer. But what's different about the iPad Pro compared to a laptop? Why is this thing so useful? I think the major thing for a student is its note-taking abilities. And if you've taken notes on a computer, you've noticed that you're very confined. You have to go line by line, you have to type everything out. And though there are apps like Evernote that are very useful and good for this purpose, it's just not a free and fully useful experience. You can put PDFs in Word files or files on Evernote, but you can't annotate them and write on top of them with your own hand. And that is the one singular reason why I think this is such a good purchase for a student who is having to take notes for a bunch of different classes. But on top of that, the multitasking capabilities of the iPad, especially now in iPadOS, are fantastic and probably better than a computer. You now have this ability to pull two apps into the screen at the same time, and so you can have a note-taking app here, a Safari or a Chrome app here, so you can be browsing the internet and taking notes all at the same time. And this is, like I said, another reason why I got the 12.9, because more screen real estate to me just meant easier multitasking and more effective multitasking. Also on the iPad, to sort of continue this comparison of the iPad versus the Mac, you have a full touchscreen and you have all of the benefits that come along with a full touchscreen. It's easier to use, it's much more intuitive, and it's just the way technology is going fully. I think the days of the screen with no touch ability are kind of regressing further and further behind us. And who doesn't love this? A huge touchscreen with all the capabilities that this thing has. Another big thing that I really like about this iPad is the Files app, which I also think is new for iPadOS. The Files app is really what takes this thing and pulls it closer to being a full computer as compared to the iPads before that were basically just like a big iPhone. With the Files app and the USB-C connector, you can pull files from anywhere, a hard drive or a flash drive, anything that you're trying to pull files from, and you can put them on here. And then also you can have seamless connection between this device and, say, your MacBook or another computer that you're using. So really the ability to manage files becomes much easier, and as a student you're dealing with a lot of PDFs and things that you have to reference quite often, and the ability to come in here to a Files app that's quite organized and intuitive is fantastic, because you're just able to be much more organized and bring everything into one place. So Files app, beautiful. Additionally, we have this conversation of GoodNotes versus Notability. So for us students who are taking notes, we want to have the best note-taking app that there is. And personally, I decided on GoodNotes. I watched a lot of videos about it. There are a bunch of great videos on YouTube comparing the two. If you guys have interest, I could probably do that same thing and compare them. But ultimately, GoodNotes seemed like the better writing experience, and it seemed like, for me, what was going to be most fun to use and the best for me. So I chose GoodNotes, and yes, I haven't really been able to fully use it yet as a student because I just graduated from undergrad and I won't be going back to school until July, but just playing around with it and doing a little bit of work on some future videos, it's been good and I've really enjoyed using it. So where do I plan to go with this thing in the future? Well, the first thing is kind of just a shoehorn off of what I was just talking about, and that is getting better at using GoodNotes. I'm working on a video series about the DAT and specifically the perceptual ability section and cue counting, and GoodNotes has been awesome because I've been able to basically create these slides where I can draw in and do problems for these example problems, and I'll be able to put that out as a video series, sort of a tutorial series. I also in the future want to find more apps that are helpful for productivity and organization of everything, basically. Some apps in that realm that I've already used are Notion, the Canvas app, which is my school's, I guess, student interface, and then Microsoft Word, which is basically my text editor of choice. I also want to continue to explore the editing and content creation capabilities of this device through the Adobe Creative Cloud. As I mentioned earlier, I've already downloaded Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Lightroom, and I've been editing the thumbnails of the videos, and that's what you see on this video. It's already been great, and it's just like somehow more fun to edit on this than it is on my computer. I also plan to get the Apple Pencil. That's a kind of a must if you're going to be a student taking notes and editing and things on this. So that will be coming soon as well. For now, I'm just kind of using the finger, taking notes that way and just kind of getting through it. But definitely Apple Pencil to come soon. So boom, conclusion. What do we think about this? What's my like take home message? If you're a student and you are at all on the fence about this thing, I would say go ahead and get it. It's a wonderful piece of technology. The hardware is amazing. The software got way better in 2019, and I would imagine it's gonna continue to get better in 2020. And ultimately, this thing is just something you're gonna wanna pick up, take notes on, be productive with, and become a better student with. In school, in this sort of race to get the best grades and become the best student, any leg up that we can gain through technology is a benefit. We are super blessed to have amazing technology in our current world, and especially students, we should be using it and we should be exploring the capabilities of these things. I think the iPad is sort of the next best thing for a student to buy, and I know it's expensive, but ultimately at just around under $1,000 or $1,000 if you get the pencil as well, this could be really, really worth it for a lot of people who are trying to get better at taking notes and being productive and being organized. I think that ultimately adding an iPad to your sort of arsenal of technology will really help you become a better student and be more productive in all of these ways. So guys, I'm super excited about the future videos that I'm gonna make about this iPad and about the realm of technology as a student. And I know there's a lot out there already. So if you checked this video out and you got to this point, thank you so much. I'm having a really fun time making these videos. I seem to have a little bit of difficulty getting in front of the camera and talking. I haven't done it in a while, so it's not coming super naturally to me, but hopefully I get better as I go along with filming and discussing things on camera, because it's kind of harder than it looks. I'm also trying to improve the atmosphere of the videos. I know this one's probably a little bit dramatic, so if you don't like that, let me know. But I'm a big fan of the colored light in the background. I think that's really cool. So yeah, guys, if you watched this whole video and you really enjoyed it, you want to see more content about the iPad and what I will do with it as a future dental student, go ahead and subscribe. I plan on, like I said in past videos, making a lot more content. I have tons of ideas. I wish I had more time, but I have tons of ideas for videos to make, and hopefully now that we're sort of out of school and I do have a little bit more time than the past, I can get around to some of these ideas. I really, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate you watching, and I think I just hit like 1,000 video views on my channel, which is awesome. It's not about the numbers to me, it's about helping people, but seeing the numbers is kind of cool, and I have to admit that. But yeah, like I said, please subscribe if you're interested in seeing future content, technology, discussions about getting into dental school and how to take the DAT, how to become a better student, all these things. And also hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more, guys. Got a lot coming out in the future. And yeah, it's been fun. So for now, signing out.